We are coming to you from U.S. Cellular Field where this afternoon Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Paul Konerko, Alex Rios, Carlos Quentin, and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Manny Acta's Cleveland Indians. Hi, everybody, and welcome. We're Steve Stone. I'm Ken Harrelson as we get set to bring you the finale of this three-game set. As you know, the Indians have taken the first two. They won the opener 10-1. It was just a bad ball game. Then last night, Jake Peavy really pitched well. 7 innings, giving up 2 runs. That's all. But unfortunately, he took the loss as we lost it 3-1. Now, let's face it, we just can't beat Cleveland. It's that simple. We played them 11 times. They have won 8. So we'll try to pick up this game this afternoon with Mark Burley.
And with the Tigers coming to town, this becomes a big game, and it's a big game for Mark Burley, who's 3-6 this year. And the last time he looked at this Indian team, he was unceremoniously booted out in the 3rd inning by Joe West. So he's got some makeup to do against his team. And Mark Burley right now has an ERA up close to 5. That's not Burley-esque. However, lifetime, he's 12-15 against his Indian team. His mound opponent, Jake Westbrook, is 3-3 this year. Also has a losing record of 8-13 against the Sox lifetime. Now, his ERA is a little higher than he would like, and he's one of the guys mentioned in trades. So we'll see if the sinker baller can throw better than he's thrown against us in 2 starts. It hasn't been pretty, but, Hawk, we have to beat the Indians in this one.
We do?
We do.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Field on this Sunday, June 6th, as the Sox try to salvage the final game of the series, and the Indians line up with Trevor Crowe leading it off. Then it's Chu, Kearns, Peralta, Shelley Duncan, the DH, Bressolanic, Valbuena, Laporta, and Marson catching and hitting 9. Jimmy John's defense and how they'll line up behind Mark Burley, left to right, Pierre, Rios, and Quentin in the infield, Vizquel, Ramirez, Beckham, and Konerko. A.J. Przynski behind the plate, and the Toyota starting pitcher is Mark Burley. Burley looking for win number 4. ERA a touch under 5. The game conditions, 73 degrees, 54% humidity, winds out of the northwest 10 to 15, and it is mostly sunny, but there is rain in the area. The umpires, behind the plate, Ed Rapuano at first base, Tom Hallion at second base, Ron Culpa, and at third base, Lance Barksdale. So we're ready for baseball, and I'm ready to throw it over to my play-by-play partner, Hog Harrelson.
All right, Stone Pony, thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us. The finale of this 3-game set. And the first pitch of the ball game to Trevor Crowe, switch-hitting center fielder, is taken for a ball. Crowe comes in hitting at .247, a homer. He's driven in 11. 31-year-old southpaw. There's the strike. Indians come in at 21 and 33. They're hitting .245 as a club with a 4.77 team ERA.
If you try to take advantage of Crowe, he's much weaker from the right side than he is from the left side. So the last thing you want to do is walk him as a right-hand hitter.
He has good speed. The Indians, for the most part, are not a running ball club. They only have 28 stolen bases. That ball hit hard. One hopper, piece of cake. 1 out. Crowe now 1 for 8 lifetime off Burley. And that'll bring up Chu, the right fielder. Chen Su Chu. Hitting at .280, 8 homers. He's driven in 28. He's just a complete and a solid ball player. Runs well, throws well, hits well, good defender. And he is 6 for 17 lifetime off Burley. And here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straightaway center. Curveball. And the count 0-2.
That's what you'd like to see from Mark Burley. Establish that curveball early. He has a tendency not to throw it quite as much as he should because it's a good one, and a lot of guys will take it.
And there's a base hit in the hole. So he is now 4 for 10 in this series. So good speed aboard. He is 10 for 12. Has 10 of the 28 stolen bases for the Indians.
We haven't seen Chu give any ground to left-hand pitchers. I mean, last night, Matt Thornton came into the game, and normally you would think if you're going to give ground against anybody, it would be Thornton, but that wasn't the case.
That'll bring up Austin Kearns, having a good series. He's 5 for 9 with a homer. Had a disastrous year last year with Washington. But the skipper, Manny Acta, who was managing Washington, saw something he liked, got him to get him, and he is producing at .294, 4 homers and 25 driven in. The 0-1 pitch. Checks it up. And the count 1-1. Indians 13 and 19 on the road.
Here's a look at Manny Acta hiding amongst all the other folks in the dugout.
Out of probably the most infamous baseball city in the world.
Well, infamous
for the number of players they have put in the picture.
The cradle of shortstops.
That's it.
San Pedro de Macorís.
That ball hit hard. And nobody's going to get that one. Bounces off the top of the fence. Now they're going to hold Chu at third on the double by Kearns, so he continues to swing the bat in this series.
Well, Chu didn't read that one quite as well as he might have. Rios covers so much ground that I think Chu thought that he might have had a shot at this. From our angle, we could see it actually hooking away from Rios. This was a bomb. He had no shot. But you don't want to gamble with your number 4 hitter coming up, especially knowing the infield's going to be back and concede the run.
So some trouble brewing right here in the top of the first inning, as here's Johnny Peralta. Peralta 18 for 64 lifetime off mark, and of the 18 hits, 16 of them stayed in the park. Big hack, and he fouls it away. Shelley Duncan on deck. Mark Grutzelanek in the hole.
Rather than give in to Peralta, you have first base open. Peralta is one of their better run producers. And Duncan can't run and is a good candidate for 2.
And that's low. 2-1.
You take a look at the flags, and the wind is stiffened up somewhat. That's a pretty good number. 2 first-inning runs in 11 starts, but that's going to be put to the test here.
And that ball smoked. That was a changeup. So the count evens at 2.
Now you can go after Peralta out of the strike zone. Changeup low and away out of the zone. I'd get him expanding that zone. Peralta with 45 strikeouts in 51 games.
And there's another souvenir into the seats. Well, the style of pitching has changed, and it changed back in the 60s, the late 60s. Whereas in that time zone, 2-0-3-1, here it comes, see what you can do with it. As that's a high ball 3, so a full count to Peralta. Then Catfish Hunter came into play, and he started pitching 2-0-3-1 with breaking balls and all speed stuff. And he was very successful with it, and other pitchers adapted that, and since then it's changed. And over the last 25 or 30 years of watching this game, in a situation like this where you get the cleanup hitter up the plate, 1 out, first base open, rather than try to get ahead of him, I found out that the best way to try to get him out is get behind him and then go with the soft stuff and let him hopefully get himself out.
Yeah, and if he wants to expand the zone, well, he can, but he didn't.
That's going to score a pair, and it's quickly 2-0.
And that's why I say when you have first base open and you have their number 4 hitter with a guy that they just called back to the major leagues, you just can't give in to Peralta, and it cost him 2 runs. At a 3-2 count, that was a cutter that was right down the middle, and Peralta came in hitting 281 against Burley, so he's had success. And now you find yourself with a 2-run deficit, and there's still only 1 out in the first.
And that's the 5th and 6th RBIs for Peralta in this series. So he's swinging the good bat. Game 1, he had 4 hits and 4 RBIs. Duncan hitting at .313, no homers, he's driven in 5. And not that he can't get it done with the bases loaded, not to say that, but he was going to be the one hitting for me.
No question.
And that's into the gap. So that's another double. Boy, these guys have been doubling us to death in this series. Now they're going to wave Peralta around. He's going to score.
Well, Mark's been getting pitches up. That cutter that he threw to Peralta was up. This one to Duncan was up. RBI number 6. Take another look at it. And you see where A.J. wanted it. He wanted it low and in. He wanted that cutter in off the plate. And Mark got it up and out over the plate. And his second double of the year. So, an ominous beginning here against the team that has absolutely tormented us. The Indians look like the 27 Yankees in this head-to-head 11-game battle to this point, this being the 12th time these two teams will have hooked up.
Well, you have that team that you just feel like, regardless of what the standings are, that you just feel like you match up well with them and you beat them. It's just that simple. Every team has that team. Every pitcher has that hitter. Every hitter has that pitcher.
By the way, when are we going to run into one of those teams?
It's coming.
Okay.
The check is in the mail. So here's Greg Zelanik, 39-year-old veteran. I remember when I was playing with Boston, we had some thunder. We had some terrific offense. We had a good ball club. Like we went to the World Series. We go in to play Washington. We just kill the Yankees. We go in to play Washington. I'm telling you, they would beat our brains in. And we just sit there in the clubhouse where they had no air conditioning at old JFK.
Well, of course not. There's no reason for the visiting team to have.
We had two fans, one at each corner, caddy corner. And we just sit there and shake our heads. As that's into right field. Ball carrying. Wow. He was poked at that one.
Well, that gives you some hope for the rest of this game. And the fact is the ball is very lively today. Here's another guy, Babe Valbuena, that we have helped get back to respectability.
He came in this series. Luis was hitting 149. He is now hitting 183, being 5 for 8. And he is 1 for 4 lifetime off Burley.
Well, he's another guy that doesn't give any ground to the left-handers.
You don't see many guys giving ground today because they're not worried about the inside strike being called or not worried about getting drilled. They stand their ground pretty well. As opposed to when you came into the league, left-handed hitters gave a lot of ground to certain left-handed pitchers.
Well, because they would have a tendency to hit you in the head.
That's right. 2-1. Shanks that one. So 2 out, 2 ball, 2 strike count.
30 pitches for Mark Burley. Not a particularly good sign for longevity in this game. But last night, Jake went 7 innings and by and large kept him out of the pen. And there was a big break because that ball bounced straight up and it looked like it got a piece of Valbuena, or it might have skipped away and Duncan could have scored. Take another look at it. AJ trying to block the breaking ball down. Looked like it caught the bat. It did. It caught the bat of Valbuena, and now he walks him. He has to deal with Laporta.
So besides the 3 runs, a very productive inning for the Indians, having Mark now going to throw at least 33 pitches this inning.
Last night, only Thornton and Jenks threw an inning each. In the Dank start, it was Santos, Williams, Linebrink, and Putz.
And that's after John had just breezed through the first 5. And the count 2-0. I wish we could say it was because of bad umpiring, but we can't. The umpiring has been good in this series. Don Culple behind the plate, and then Lance Barksdale last night.
Today especially, not many are being called.
Well, not many are being caught by Krasinski.
No, they're not getting to him.
Two out, 2-1 the count. Really helped him out. That ball about a foot at least outside.
Laporta, one of the acquisitions for CC Sabathia, original property of the Milwaukee Brewers, really expands his zone.
Two and two. Ate him up. that time. But some damage is done as they put a crooked number up on the board after a half inning of play. It's the Indians 3 and the good guys coming to bat.
Ramirez and Beckham hitting 9. Jimmy John's defense, and now they'll line up behind Westbrook, Kearns, Crow, and Chu in the infield. Peralta, Valbuena, Grzelcyk, Laporta, Marson behind the plate, and the Toyota starting pitcher is Jake Westbrook. On for the 12th start. He's 3-3, ERA just under 4.5. As you can see, right-handers have hit him better than left-handers, which is somewhat surprising.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. That's down low. Come on, guys. We got them right where we want. Give them that sense of complacency.
Then lower
and then just knock the you-know-what out. Knock them out. 1-1. Outfield short, swung around to the left. And there's a souvenir.
Westbrook is a sinker baller. Has 25 walks in 66 innings. And he hasn't kept the ball in the park this year. 8 home runs in 66 innings, and today it's a very lively park.
And another foul ball. So the count 2-2. Vizquel on deck and Rios in the hole. That ball hit in the center field right at Trevor Crow. That's a hang look for Pierre.
That's just great defensive charts.
And you at home can now be a part of our Picks to Click segment for each game. Tune in to Felco pregame live each game to see Ozzy's lineup. Then make your selection on who you think will be the pick to click of the game. Today, the White Sox fans watching at home have voted for Paul Konerko. Jim Andrew, our director and crew, going with Carlos Quentin. Stone Pony is going with Mark Kotze. And the Bertucci boys and their family. Bobby, Bruno, and all of them. We're going to go with Gordon Beck. Is that pitch fouled away?
Omar realizing that Peralta, lifetime shortstop, had made the switch to third base where he's been all this season and part of last. He figured he'd try a bunt. Good idea. Just bunted it foul.
And that's low. Count evens at 1. Omar just one hit behind Lou Gehrig. One hit behind Lou Gehrig for 55th place.
If he can pull the ball, he's in pretty good shape because they're swung around toward left and left center.
And there's another souvenir left side.
Like they're playing him almost exactly like they're playing Juan Pierre, which, if you're Omar Vizquel and take a look at that defense, you've got to be looking for the ball away.
If you'd have told me when Omar Vizquel first came up with Seattle, June 6th, 2K10, he would be one hit behind Lou Gehrig, I'd have said, stack it up.
Well, there was another guy that was very similar amount of hits, similar career. That's Ozzie Smith. When he came up with San Diego, you could knock the bat right out of his hands.
You don't think you could with Omar?
Same thing with Omar.
Same thing. And we used to say that, just knock the bat right out of his hands. Here he is with 2,720 hits.
He's 43 years old and he's in magnificent condition.
Foul ball.
He got a lot stronger. He was always a smart player. He was always a defensive wizard. But he made himself a good hitter from both sides of the plate.
And that's foul ball. Well, I mentioned it more than a few times. He's my favorite player to watch pregame. I mean, he has fun out there. It's a habit players get into. You either don't like pregame warm-ups, the batting practice, the ground balls and everything, or you do. Omar loves it. And that's ball 4. That's a good hit. There's some guys you like to watch take batting practice. And there are some guys you like to watch, like Omar Vizquel and Roberto Alomar and these guys. Take ground balls, practice the double plays. Just absolutely put a show on for you. Here's Alex Rios hitting at .313, 12 homers. He's driven in 28. Takes it right there.
That was a different surface, but I remember Ozzie Smith used to have whoever hit his ground balls hit choppers in the infield. High choppers. He would come in and charge them, catch them on the short hop, try to catch them then back on the long hop. But he also did something else that I haven't seen very much. He would have the guy hitting to him hit pop-ups to him, both to his right and to his left. And he would practice going back and catching pop-ups with his back to the infield.
You don't see that.
You just don't see that, no.
That ball hit hard in the right field, but knowing he saw, that's being smart back there. Look at where normally they play. He's probably 3 or 4 steps deeper than that because he saw how that ball carried out to right field off the bat of Grunzelatic.
Yes.
After Grud.
The G-man.
Yeah. Grunzelatic. Thank you. But that's what smart outfielders do. They'll see right away how the ball's carrying. If they can't pick it up in batting practice, they'll see during the game, early part. Won the Yankees a World Series one.
Well, this team is shifting much more than most of the teams that we've played against.
Yeah, they move around pretty good. Lou Piniella was playing right field for the Yankees, and he knew that Ron Guidry's fastball was a little short, and the ball was carrying well. So he played a little deeper and a little more towards the line. And he made a play that he was not supposed to make. Most people will say he was out of position. Meanwhile, he was in perfect position because he knew the elements. Stopped the guy from going to third base, and the Yankees won the World Series. (2-0) to Paulie. Short lead by Omar. That ball hit deep. Way back. They just look up. You can put it on the board. Yes. Yes. Number 17 for Konerko, and it's a 3-2 ball game. Mercy.
I told you a couple of things about Westbrook, and that is he's a sinker baller, and sinker ballers give up fly balls in the first inning. Our Ford home run replay. Ball gets all of this one. On a very lively day, it sails out of the ballpark. Cuts the Indian lead to just 1.
So here's Kotsay. Don't stop now, boys. We got him right where we want. You know, in one here, it's a line drive to center field, and then another line drive by Rios. But that sinker, well, she's not sinking.
Just not sinking, and that's why sinker ballers with a little too much adrenaline in the first inning, throwing a little bit harder than they normally would throw.
Well, I mentioned probably most of those 8 home runs he had thrown coming in here were probably early in the ball game. There have been some sinker ballers who have tried so many various different things. That's fouled back over the years. Try to get out of those first and second inning doldrums.
Tough to do. You have too much adrenaline. Unless you want to go to the spitter, and of course we know that's illegal.
That's cheating.
It is indeed.
Checks it up, does Kotsay. And a full count. Kotsay 6 for 21 lifetime off Westbrook. Of the 6 hits, 2 of them left the premises. And that ball hit deep in the left field, but not deep enough. Back on the track is Kearns, and they'll retire the side, but the 2-run homer by Pauly. We'll go to the second, trailing 3-2.
See it. Text A, B, C, D, or E to 53695. Stick around for the U.S. Cellular White Sox postgame live for final results, or visit csnchicago.com.
Well, so far up and through June 6th, thank goodness for Freddie Garcia.
Freddie's been magnificent, plus he's gone deep into just about every game.
A 3-2 Cleveland lead here in the top of the second. Lou Marson, the catcher. Talking with Sandy Alomar prior to the game about Marson, he said, Hawk, this guy just gets better and better. He's just 23 years old. Ball hit softly. Beckham with a throw into the line. As you look at the future Major League manager, and he's going to be a good one. I mean, a good one. He's got everything it takes. Not afraid of the players. He's not afraid of the press. He's got the savvy. He's got the guts. All the ingredients are there. I would say the two guys who are not managing right now who are right at the top of that list right now, Sandy Alomar and Davey Martinez.
There's another one, and he's in the other league. And it's Jose Oquendo, longtime third base coach with St. Louis. He's another guy that probably will manage before it's over.
Throw can't get it. And the count 0-2.
Dave Martinez is already interviewed for a job. And that job, the Cleveland Indians job.
I was talking to Sandy about Manny Acta. I said, I've never met Manny until today. So tell me about Manny Acton. I like to watch managers for a while before I had never met him to go down and introduce myself. He's at Hawk. He's awesome. He said he is a good organizer. He is a good teacher. He's a good developer. And that's going foul. That's pretty high praise coming from Sandy Element.
I like Manny Acton. I liked him when he was with Washington, but at that point, he had no ball club, and I don't care who you are, how good you've been, or where you've been. If you don't have the horses, you're not going to win.
That's foul. Well, you played for guys in the Hall of Fame, and he deserves to be there without doubt. Earl Weaver. But when Earl came back and didn't have those 2 or 3 20-game winners in that bullpen and stick up the behind, he couldn't sit back and wait for the 3-run homer. He had to change his style a little bit, and it didn't work.
But in talking to Earl, he said he had just lost that fire.
I believe that.
And he said he really shouldn't have come back because what it took for him to get the most out of his players, whatever that was gone when he came back for the second go-round.
You could see it. I remember, you could just see it. Got to hurry. Well, another low throw by Alexei. This one could not be scooped up by Paul.
And again, the break, because it's going to go as a base hit, but fortunately did not go in the seats, and so Crow is going to wind up at first. That ball flattened out. Paul tried to come up with the hop. The hop wasn't there. Flattened out under the glove and did not go in the dugout or the stand.
Well, a good throw gets him easy.
Yes, it does. But it wasn't, and it didn't.
That's why I gave him an error. Look at those hits.
But they didn't.
It's a hit. So here's Chu. He started off that 3-run first with a 1-out single. There's the strike. 3-5-0 for them, 2-1-0 for us. Yeah, when Earl came back, you could see it just was not the same. The intensity was not there.
The intensity, or just as important as you pointed out, the talent.
Well, he didn't have the talent, but the intensity, you could just see it wasn't there. Outfield. Spread out, close to being equidistant. And swung slightly to the left. There's another bullet in the right field for a base hit. So 1 out, 2 on.
That young man can just flat out hit. Early threw him a cutter. AJ wanted it low and away. Mark got it up and in, and that's been the majority of the pitches early in this one. Has not been Cleveland has hit really good pitches. They've hit mistakes, but to their credit, they've hit them hard, and they found a place to land.
That's why Peavy pitched so well yesterday. Every time in the opening game when they won it 10-1, after starting in the 6th inning, Johnny didn't have any, Dax didn't have any problems through 5. Then all of a sudden, bad pitch, and boom, 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 they scored. In that 6th inning, they put a quick 4 spot on the board, then added 2 in the 7th and 4 more in the 8th. They didn't miss them. There's the strike. Austin Kearns, who doubled last inning and scored.
I think one of the big factors with Jake last night was the fact that he changed speeds so well.
Well, he had the best fastball he's had in a while, and he had the best slider he's had in a while. Change up. And the count 1-2. He gone. 2 down. And a reminder, you can support your White Sox by becoming a season ticket holder. Now, The White Sox Aussie plan features 13 games, including Cubs Series tickets, leaving the rest up to you. Prices vary depending on selected seat category and game choices. So for details, visit whitesox.com or call 312-674-1000 to speak with a ticket sales representative. Johnny Peralta takes it up. And the count, 1-0. He just ripped a 2-run single in the left field. And the count, 1-1. Outfield, they are straight up, spread out, and fairly deep. Peralta can use the whole field, and when he's going to right and right center, he is really dangerous. On the outside edge, and the count 1-2.
Good backdoor cutter from Mark Burley. Peralta gave up on it, and that one came back and caught the outside corner. Put it right in AJ's glove. Good pitch.
Up high, 2-2. So 2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here in the top of the second, 3-2 Indians. Softly hit. Very softly hit. And that'll do it. You get a couple of hits, they strand a pair, and they lead it 3-2.
Like a fastball. If you hold it off center, throw it like a fastball, it's going to slide across. It's not going to go down, and that's what you try to accomplish. Now, the big problem is if you get under the ball, that is a problem with the cutter. You get under it, it stays up. You stay on top of it, and if you keep it in the shot staying on top of it, it means that I'm throwing like Marvin Miller, then you have a problem.
Okay. So you gotta get up and stay on top.
Yes.
3-0 the count to Carlos Quentin. There's a new camera, a new shot.
All the greatest technology available.
Sparing no expense.
Nope.
Little ground ball to Valbuena. And that is out number 1. 2-run homer by Paul Konerko. Got us on the board last inning. And they'll bring up Pierzynski. AJ 1 for 5 in the series, hitting at .224, a couple of homers. He's driven in 14. Outfield about equidistant, spread out slightly to the left. Yeah, this Cleveland outfield moves around just about as much as any we've seen this year.
Last night, Minnesota came through once again, breaking up a tie ball game late.
I'll tell you how that happened. I was listening to that. The A's tied it up in the 8th inning with a couple of runs. They go to the 10th inning. There's one out. Morneau, who was not playing in the game, okay, not playing in the game, comes up to pinch hit in the top of the 10th with one out, nobody on. They intentionally walked him.
And then they put a pinch runner in for him.
And they put a pinch runner in, and that pinch runner came around to score, which was the winning run.
That was Tolbert getting a base hit up the middle.
A hard base hit.
Yes, indeed.
But that is really rolling the dice when you're at home and that ball into left field. When you're at home, you got one out, top of the 10th inning, nobody on, and you intentionally walk the guy.
Well, it was that. It was Ziegler on the mound at the time, and the big problem was you intentionally walk him. Okay, that's one thing.
Well, that is the thing.
But then you walk unintentionally the next guy, putting the potential winning run on second base.
Well, that's the thing. Is you walk a guy, you put him on base in a tie ball game when in your house with one out. That's Justin Morneau is a good hitter. He is a very dangerous hitter. And he deserves respect, but that's a little too much. Now, if you're on the road in that same situation, a little bit different. Still rolling the dice, but still a little bit different. The 1-1. Breaking ball to Alexei. Alexei 2 for 6 with a homer in the series.
Westbrook, a lot like Masterson, who finally broke his 11-game losing streak, throws from the extreme first base side of second. And he probably does that to get a little better angle on that slider away from the right-handers, and he thinks that his sinker into the right-handers will move more from that position.
That ball hit hard, but it's going to hang up for Crow. So a 1-2-3 inning for Westbrook, and he still leads it 3-2.
ball broadcasting icon. Tune in at 9:30 for the Put It on the Board 25 years with Hawk Harrelson. Relive some of Hawk's greatest moments from the booth and beyond. Put It on the Board 25 years with Hawk Harrelson tomorrow night at 9:30 on Comcast Sports Net.
1-0 pitch to Shelly Duncan, who had an RBI double back in the first. 3-6-0 for them, 2-1-0 for our guys here in the top of the third. That's foul back, just out of the reach of the first throw in the upper tank. $25 years. That's foul straight back.
Duncan does not get cheated, which would seem to make him very susceptible to the off-speed pitch.
Oh, the fastball up out of the strike zone. Got to be higher than that. He will chase it eye high down in the count, especially against a guy like Burley. A lot of the time. Two and two. Yes, he did. He knew it. He gone.
Off speed, slow breaking ball. You have Duncan well out in front of it. Tries to check his swing, but he went way around on that one.
Yeah, when you get that aggressive like he is, he's got up and down. Besides the in and out, he's got a big up and down strike zone when he's behind in the count. As here is Gredzelanik.
His problem was the first time he hit it too far. Normally he just loops it into right and right center field. And Mark stepped out because apparently the organ continued to play a bit.
And the count 2-0. Gredzelanik 12 for 40 lifetime off Burley.
And Ozzie is now talking to Ed Rappuano.
Come back and get him. No walks. There's one.
Starting to darken up a little bit. We know that rain was in the offing. Not supposed to get here for a bit. Hopefully it'll stay away.
There's two. So a full count. Toronto leading the Yankees 2-0. That's in the bottom of the sixth up at the Rogers Center.
Beat them 3-2 in yesterday's game.
Javi Vasquez on the bump. As that ball hit into left center field. Juan Pierre. Nice. Nice. 1, 2 down. Long run.
Well, it helps when you shade a guy in the left center field. You don't figure Gredzelanik to pull it down the line. He hit that ball at this point about as hard as he can hit it. And Juan, who's played a very good left field probably over the last 3 weeks, made another good catch. He went a long way for that.
Valbuena drew a walk. Takes a strike on the outside corner. They have 3 runs on 6 hits. We have 2 runs on 1 hit. A 2-run home by Canerco. And count 2-1. Matt Laporta on deck. As that pitch fouled away. And a reminder that Wednesday, 7:10 p.m., Sox against the Tigers. You can celebrate Sue's 10th anniversary with the White Sox. First 10,000 fans will receive a White Sox Sue poster presented by the Field Museum. So for tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com. The 2-2. Upjob. Full count. And for the second time, he walks. So that'll bring up Laporta. He got fisted and hit a little soft ground ball to Alexi.
Outfield straight away, a little bit deeper than they normally would be, trying to cut off anything in the alleys. Only a one-run game, despite Sox being out hit 6-1.
Seven-hit game now for them. 2 out, 2 on. And that'll bring up the catcher Lou Marson, who grounded out to second.
When we were in Cleveland, Marson had 1 run batted in. He picked up 2 in that series against us. He now has 7. But he has had a very tough series to this point.
First pitch strike. And the count 0-2. 2 out, 2 on, 0-2 the count. Bottom of the 4th in Baltimore. Red Sox and Orioles tied at 2.
Orioles trying to break that 10-game losing streak.
That's up high.
They are only 0-2 in the Juan Samuel era.
Jeremy Guthrie pitched a good ball game for them last night.
He's a good pitcher.
That curveball hit high and deep.
That was a no-doubter. As Marson with his first home run of the year.
All coming with 2 out, nobody on, the walk to Valbuena. And it's 5-2. Check that 6-2.
Watch it again as Marson goes down and gets that breaking ball that's supposed to be low and in. Mark doesn't get it there, and he takes it up over the bullpen. So
3-run home.
Yeah, just like that. Marson has 10 driven in on his first home run. And the Sox and Mark Burley trail by 4. Out hit 8-1. Where is that ring?
It's coming. I can hear it in the background as that's outside to Crow, who's 1 for 2 at an infield single. Six, 8-0 for them, 2-1-0 for us. There's the strike.
And look at that very young receiver that they got in the Cliff Lee deal. Marson, along with Donald, who's played shortstop for him, and here comes the rain. They got a pitcher named Carrasco and a youngster with a lot of promise named Knapp, who've had a lot of arm problems.
So he walks Valbuena, now he walks Crow.
Tough to walk Crow to get to Chu.
He's 2 for 2. 2 rockets. So 4 for 6 in stolen bases. There he goes. Into center field, but Alex coming in, backing up. He'll hold his ground. He picks up his 5th stolen base.
Yeah, nice backup by Alex Rios. As soon as you see that ball get by the hitter, you're in center field. Just race in as hard as you can in case there's one of these. He airmailed second base bag.
Well, in this league, they slide. They don't fly.
Nope.
And the count 1-2. Starting to come down a little harder. Mike Ray, our producer, tells us that the radar, though, is spotty. Trying to get one more out here. And that's chopped foul. Well, the grounds crew is not out there on point at the tarp, so.
Now that should mean that when this blows over, that should be about it.
For this segment.
Yeah.
Now they want the lights on, says Rockawana.
Not until after 2 hits. That wouldn't be fair.
And he just got a piece of that.
He's hitting well enough without the lights.
He gone. So 2 out, nobody on. The walk of Valbuena, the single out of Porter, the 3-run homer by Marson. It is 6-2 Indians.
Who are the 2 catchers in Indians history to have won a Gold Glove? Pretty sure I know one of them.
He's a good catcher. He was a good catcher. Not a bad kind of driving a run late in the ball game for you either. First pitch strike to Beckham. Hitting at 202, a homer. He's driven in 12. 6-2 Indians. Breaking ball away.
shading Beckham around toward right center field.
Ate him up right there. Peralta, nice pick by Laporta. Laporta, playing a lot of first base this year, has not committed an error.
Well, all first basemen will tell you that they'd rather pick the short hops on the backhand. That's their preference. I talked to Paul about it, and obviously Laporta feels the same way. This is a pretty decent scoop by Peralta. He throws it in the dirt, and you see Laporta go to the backhand. That, for whatever reason, is much more comfortable, especially for a right-handed first baseman.
First pitch strike to Juan Pierre, who lined out to Trevor Crowe in center field. One hopper. That's Atlantic. 2 down. So 2 quick out. And that'll bring up Omar.
The first time up, he tried to bunt before he drew a base on balls and then scored ahead of the 2-run homer that Paul Konerko hit. Now, it's still not a bad idea to try to bunt because you are going to get a wet baseball, and we saw the last time that Peralta tried to throw it, it wound up in the dirt.
Now the sun.
Kind of unusual to see dark clouds ringing the ballpark with the sun at the park.
One pitch to Vizquel. Ouch. 2 out, 1-2 the count. Omar knew it, could not check it up. 1, 2, 3, and that's 7 in a row. Retired by
with the KFC Fan Feast, only $19.99. Mark Burley's day is done, and Tony Pena comes on. Pena 1-1, ERA 4.34 on for the 21st time, and he's got to eat up a few innings as Burley 3 innings, 6 runs on 8 hits. Walk 3, fan 3.
Austin Kearns takes it low and away. He is 1 for 2, a double and a run scored in the first inning. And count 2-0. That was just Mark's control. Location today was not there. There's the strike. Peralta on deck and Duncan in the hole.
There's some teams that he's dominated and some teams that have given him problems. The Indians are one of those teams that have always given him problems.
Watch out. Well, that's a bullet. That could have been a bad Schinberger right there.
Well, Tony looked down on the mound to see just exactly what happened, because he thought he was going to catch that ball and it flattened out. Rocket right back up the middle, and he just couldn't get the glove down in time. His ball was hit too hard.
So here's Peralta. He had a 2-run single in the first, and he grounded to short softly in the second. Kearns 2 for 2 in stolen bases as there's ball 1. And the count 2-0.
This is a guy you can look to hit to that double play ground ball. At 2-0, he's going to be airing it out.
And that got a piece of Ed Rapuano. So while he runs it off, a reminder, the Chicago Tribune ticket to summer giveaway. You can win tickets to see the Sox host the Cubs June 25th, 6th, or 27th here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. So look for the ticket to summer prize code inside your Tribune today and Friday, June 11th, and Sunday, June 13th.
Peralta's grounded into 5 double plays. That's tied for the team lead in that department.
And that is popped up softly. Paulie. Almost a Doc Edwards shot. People ask me, when you say Doc Edwards, who was that? Doc Edwards was a catcher. Doc and I played together at Kansas City. He also played at Cleveland. He also managed at Cleveland. Good guy. Good baseball man. Real good with the leather, not so good with the lumber. He used to take these big swings. The ball would go about 12 or 15 feet in the air right back to the pitcher. There goes Kearns. Got a big jump.
Well, a good throw by A.J., but Kearns with too big a jump. That throw was right on the money, but the head first slide got him there. He gets a 3-step jump. And watch the hand, almost simultaneous with the tag on the shoulder.
It was closer than I thought it was going to be. There's a strike and the count 0-2 to Duncan. Duncan has doubled in a run and struck out. Now field for the most part straight up. Big hack. He gone.
Duncan has some big problems with anything breaking, and although this one doesn't break very much, he still has them well out in front.
That'll bring up 39-year-old veteran Mark Grudzielanek.
He's hit the ball hard twice.
Well, that first one, he just poked it out there and he just kicked it. Yeah, that's slicing. And last time, he had a hard shot into left center field. Pierre had a long way to go, and he got there. Grudzielanek has always given us problems.
when he's healthy, he's given a lot of teams problems.
He's been an under-the-radar player.
He's been a very, very good hitter most of his career. Very limited in range as a second baseman because he's gotten there late.
There's a Matabatacola. And that will retire the side. Look at the bottom of the fourth. We need some runs.
Gold Glove. Ray Fosse and Sandy Alomar Jr. in 90. Ray Fosse in 70 and 71.
Ray Fosse, one of the best teammates I ever had.
Still a good man, still doing broadcasts.
And a very good broadcaster for the Oakland A's. And Ray Fosse was real good with his hands, too. Yeah, tough man. Muley. Strong as a mule, he was called him. Muley was his nickname. The 0-1 pitch to Alex. We got into a fight with the Tigers one night in Cleveland, and Ray still has a big scar on his neck. Him being at the bottom of the pile.
You don't want to be at the bottom of the pile. That's why you want to come in just a little late.
What you see next time,
top of that.
Ask him to show you that scar. It's a Jim Dandy. And a strike on the outside corner, and the count 2-2.
If he went there the pitch before, it was called a ball, and I think Alex thought that the next one in the same spot would be called a ball, but was a little bit higher.
Tops that one foul.
There was a great catcher in Cleveland whose son is still broadcasting for the Indians, maybe before the Gold Glove came around, and that was Jim Hegan.
Actually, that's who I thought was.
Yeah, because he
was going to be there.
He was exceptional, caught a wonderful pitching staff, was their catcher in 54 when they won 111 games, and out of 154, they had Wynn, Feller, Lemon, and Garcia as their top 4 starters, and they were terrific.
And that's fine. I thought the two were going to be Jim Hegan and Ray Fosse.
Well, perhaps they didn't award a Gold Glove in those days.
Yeah, Hegan was a terrific catcher. And as I said, he was not afraid to knock in a big run late in the ball game. And Mike, of course, his son, was one of the better defensive first basemen in all of baseball. He did not go.
He now is the partner of Tom Hamilton, great broadcaster.
Future Hall of Famer.
A long time.
Tom Hamilton is a future Hall of Famer. There's a shot. Laporta. Another shot off the bat of Rios. So a nice way to start the bottom of the 4th. 15th two-bagger.
Alex continues to hit the ball hard. And eventually it has to find a spot. This is a sinker away. Alex going right with it. You see all the room to Laporta's left. Promising way to start the bottom of the 4th inning.
And here's Paulie. Outfield straight up, spread out about equidistant. Paulie in the 1st inning. Omar Vizquel aboard. Cranked it out of here for his 17th. And if you missed it, poof.
Gets this one up into the wind. Doesn't need a whole lot of help. Winds up cutting into a 1-run game at the time.
And that's foul on play. Indians also way back when had a good catcher. His name is Jeff Heath. And his career was cut short with the dislocated ankle. The 0-2 pitch. Valbuena. Now there's a situation, might be saying at home, well, why didn't Paul try to get him over? You don't, in this situation, you're down 6-2. You got a man who's second in the league in home runs, second in baseball in home runs. Just hit a home run his first time up. You don't want him against a right-handed pitcher taking a shot. Now against the left-hander, Paulie can hit him out to right field. So yeah, he might try to do it with a left-hander out there, but not a right-hander. Especially a sinker baller like Westbrook. Now, a nice crowd on hand today. Had 30,864 last night. You saw a good ball game. And they were a lively crowd. That 3 1/3 right here, though, is took a little quietness on this one. Patsy takes ball 2. He went out deep to left field, taking Kearns back on the track.
Westbrook now is starting to be able to sink the ball a little bit better than he did in the early going.
Atlantic. Well, the age-old maxim about sinker ballers: get them early. You might not get them. Here's Quentin. He grounded out to Valbuena. Pick him up, Carlos. Come on. Bottom of the 5th down at the juice box. Houston leading the Cubs 3-2. Kansas City 5, Detroit 1. That's in the bottom of the 5th at Kauffman Stadium. Breaking ball, good check, and the count 1-1.
Up to deliver pitch number 72.
And 72, number 72 is low and away. And there's a chopper. Stay down. It will. Thank you very much. Base hit. Alex scores, and it's a 6-3 ball game. If it comes up, they get a shot at him. If it stays down,
RBI number 30 for Carlos Quentin, who's 1 for 2. Again, that sinker. Makes you pound it right into the ground, but fortunately, it found a good spot. And Valbuena, who doesn't have quite the range that their former shortstop, and currently injured shortstop, has Asdrubal Cabrera, had that one hit off the end of the glove.
Here's AJ. AJ went out to left field. He is now 15 for 65 lifetime. Or check that, 14 for 65 lifetime against Westbrook. And of the 14 hits, all of them have stayed in the park. There's the strike, so the count evens at 1. When you think about sinker ballers, boy, there have been some good ones. There's a chopper, and that's foul. Who's the best sinker baller? Is there a definitive one?
Well, I'm not sure if he would be definitive, but he's probably this generation's best sinker baller, and that's Greg Maddux. The Yankees had a great one in Mel Stottlemyre. That was in the early 60s.
You played with a couple of good ones. Well, one for sure. Did you ever play with Brabender?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No.
He was before you. Here's the 2-2. White Sox had a good one. Bobby Locker had a real good hard sinker. I mean, Jim Dandy. Brabender, real hard, heavy. Bobby Bolin type.
Well, it really helps in this ballpark to be able to throw ground balls, because when it gets warm, it's really lively.
And that's poked into left field. Austin Kearns is there, but the RBI single by Carlos Quentin will go to the 5th. It is now a 3-run ball game. And you can text Subway to 53695. And if you are the 500th texter, you could win $5 foot-long subs from Subway. And also get a free English muffin melt on June 8th from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. at your participating Chicagoland Subway. 6-3 bad guys. Tony Pena has got the lower third of their order. Valbuena, Laporta, and Marson. Breaking ball strike. Valbuena has walked twice and scored once. They have 9 hits. We have 3. Nice pitch. Out in front, off the end of the bat.
Looked like Valbuena was deciding if he should hop up and down and claim that it hit off his foot. Stood there for a bit and then decided, nah, I couldn't sell it, so he took off.
So here's Laporta. He's 1 for 2, but it was a big one. With 2 out back in the third. Valbuena walked, and Laporta with a single back through the middle, and that set up the 3-run homer by Lou Marson. And there's another single back through the middle.
Well, this is a bit similar, although different score, different situation. But when Tony Pena took over for Mark Burley in Cleveland, it was 4 innings of work that allowed the Sox to come back in that game and eventually win it. And that's what Pena is in there to do in this one, is restore some order to a game he entered with the score 6-2 and hold the Indians until Sox offense can come back and fight their way back into this.
So here is Marson. His first homer of the season. Looked like a 2-part swing. If you missed it,
he got a breaking ball.
Got a curveball, and it looks like he started, almost stopped, and then continued.
Hit it a long way.
He sure did. Marson's second major league homer. That one with the Phillies. Off the end of the bat. Volley. And he didn't have the bag, so Pena.
And Ozzy's coming out to argue. The question is, did Marson touch the bag? And if he did Pena get to the bag more quickly? Now, he was at the bag. Could he locate it? Good throw by Paul. This is right on the money. And the return throw to Pena. I think what they're saying is he never touched the bag. He hit the outside of Pena's foot. I'll watch Pena's foot. He didn't hit the bag.
He never got the bag.
He never got to the bag.
In fact, he pushed Tony's foot into the bag. Pushed it right into the bag for the out, or what should have been an out. So hopefully it will not, as Crow, a much better left-handed hitter, jump up and bite us, as Trevor Crow is 1 for 2. Grounder to short, a center field single, and a walk and a stolen base.
Cruz had a couple of offensive contributions, but his biggest contribution in this series has been defensively, because he's gone and gotten everything and made a wonderful catch, charging in on a sinking line drive. Might not have been a catch, but it was ruled a catch, right. So it was a wonderful catch.
2 out. Kansas City leading the Tigers 5-1, bottom of the 5th, in the heart of Mid-America. Just a static lead by Marson. And that pitch fouled back, and the count 1-2. Six 10-0 for the Clevelanders, and 3-3-0 for our White Sox. There's a bullet back through the middle, took his glove off.
Once again, Tony was very fortunate. I think that got a piece of his left wrist, and he's still clutching it. Now Hermie's going to come out. I'm going to have a look at it because this is a rocket right back at him. And you see, he tucks the glove on his release. By the time he could get it back and open it, that ball was on him already. And that hit all wrist, no glove. Hit him very hard and still had enough on it to get it out to center field. And that ball hit him squarely. That's the second one right back through the middle.
Well, the missed call at first. You got a chance to jump up and really bite us right here.
But a long list of non-reviewable calls, that's just another one.
But they all count.
They do. But it's like pitching over an error. You just have to pitch over it and get the next guy or the guy after that out.
Well, we have not done a good job of that this year.
And have a very tough man here to deal with.
Chu is 2 for 3 with a run scored. Outfield, straight up, spread out, and fairly deep. Nice pitch out in front. And that'll do it. So he pitches over the blown call at first. We're halfway home. It is 6-3 Indians. All right, our Chuck, thank you very much. First pitch to Alexei Ramirez. A little breaking ball he flips up there. Just a spinner. And the count 0-1.
I get the feeling that if Westbrook hangs around long enough, we're going to get to it. Indians have had a decent bullpen. Tony Sipp, however, who was throwing the ball great, is not throwing it so great now.
There's a good way to start. Lexi now 1 for 2. Last time up, lined out to center.
Promising way to start the 5th inning. Lexi certainly does like the ball down, so a sinker baller like Westbrook should absolutely be made for him.
Here's Beckham. Grounded out softly to Peralta, who made a good play. To throw him out at first on a low throw. That was a good pick. Well, actually, it's a pretty easy pick by Laporta, but still he made it.
Well, now if you're Ramirez, you've got to get a decent secondary lead, because on a ground ball in the infield, and Westbrook throws a lot of those, you've got to try to break up 2.
Westbrook is quick to first base.
He's got very quick feet.
Always had one of the better right-handed moves in this league. Strike on the outside corner. Westbrook, 32 years old, 6'2", 215 pounds, out of Athens, Georgia.
He's always been quick to first, always been below average to the plate, however. Well, if you get a shot, you can run against him.
Good check by Beckham. And a count 2-1. Let's get a little continuation hitting going here, boys. And that's part of it right there. So the Bertucci boys pick the click. Beckham comes through with a base hit.
Gordon Beckham takes it right back up the middle. And if I'm Ozzie, I'd run Pierre Bunnett right at Peralta.
Indubitably. Omar on deck, Rios in the hole. That'll get the job done. These fans love to see a bunt executed because they're not that used to it.
Good bunt by Juan, leaving Westbrook with only one play. At the first base. He had to hurry. Pierre now with 5 sacrifices, and that one right into the path of the runner. Laporta stayed right with him. So now a chance to get within 1 on a base hit.
Now, Omar has walked and scored and struck out. And he takes ball 1. Let's do some damage right here, Omar. And that'll. Burns gets ready. Here's the throw, way off the mark, so that'll get 1 in. And it's a 6-4 ball game.
6th run batted in by Omar.
So now we need a 2-out base hit from Alex Rios, who has been to the plate twice and hit 2 line shots.
Now here comes Tim Belcher. And you can almost pick your poison here, because Alex has been the hottest of hitters. Ball has been the most prolific of home run hitters. You have first base open and Beckham at second. He's not going to tell him to automatically walk him. He's going to probably try to tell him to try to get him out of the strike zone.
Well, as hot as Alex has been, you don't want to play Canario to play this lead. Go ahead, run. Paulie tied for second in the league with Miguel Cabrera with 17, one behind Jose Bautista of Toronto. Alex is 1 for 2. That line shot to right and then a double to right. And here's a base hit. That's going to get another one home, and it's a 6-5 ball game. Alex Rios, that a boy.
I understand the whole philosophy of not wanting to put the tying run on, but Alex has been so hot. He's now hit 3 line drives against Westbrook. Can't believe that Belcher said throw one out over the plate so he can hit it.
Well, he didn't tell him that. He didn't tell him that, but here's Paulie who had a 2-run homer in the first. Off Westbrook.
RBI 29 for Alex.
Six, 11-0 for them. 5-6-0 for us. Sox were trailing after the top of the first, 3-0. They scored 2 in the first on that home run by Paulie. Indians added 3 more in the 6th to make it a 6-2 ball game. Sox with 1 in the 4th and 2 so far here in the 5th. And of course, with that home run by Paulie in the first inning, the Alex Snellius family will donate $100 to White Sox charities for every Sox homer hit throughout the course of the season. That is number 65. So $6,500 donated by Alex Snellius in loving memory of Ursula. Breaking ball, low and away.
Bullpen up and going for Cleveland, and we talked about the fact that if Westbrook did stay around, there's a very good chance the Sox would come back against him because they always have. It's Herman, who we saw in the opening game of the series, losing in the pen.
Yeah, he went an inning in the 3rd in his major league debut.
Gave up a walk, and that was it in relief of Masterson to win his first game of the year on Friday night.
Alex, 17 stolen bases in 21 attempts. He does not go. And the count's 3-0. Turning loose. But Paulie's got to, if he does, which he's not, but if he does, Paulie's got to make him get that sinker up. And that's ball 4. So the second walk by Westbrook, and here comes Kotze, who's going out deep to left, and he's grounded to second.
Marson going to the mound to try to settle down Westbrook.
Don't stop now, boys. Come on, Mark. Takes that sinker on the outside corner for a strike.
Westbrook 8-13 lifetime against the Sox. Against everybody else, he's a .500 pitcher.
And there's a base hit. So the base hit by Kotze. Paulie on his way to third. Here's a throw. Save. What a throw by Jew. Meanwhile, this game is tied at 6. Yeah.
RBI number 13. This is a change-up away. And Shin-Soo Choo throws one right on the money to third base. Paul able to beat it with those flying feet.
All right. Manny Acta out. Westbrook will depart, and we'll be back.
Broadcaster this Tuesday at 7:10 as the White Sox take on the Tigers. Hawk Harrelson night presented by Comcast Sportsnet. Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. And here's our Lexus Pursuing Perfection call to the pen, and it is Frank Herman. Those are the numbers at AAA Columbus where he was unhittable. Made his debut Friday night, inning in the third. 1 strikeout. And he inherits runners at the corners in a game tied at 6. And Jake Westbrook, as he has done so many times against the Sox, fails to deliver.
Got him right where we want. 2 out runners at the corners. Here's Carlos. He had an RBI single last inning. Picking up Alex. That coming with 2 outs, so wouldn't mind a wild pitch or a pass ball right here. That ball hit hard, but Kearns is back there. That's a hang whoop-em for Quentin. Dadgummit. But we put a crooked number up there. 3 spot. We'll go to the 6, tied at 6.
We showed you our U.S. Cellular text message poll question a little earlier. Here are the results so far. There's still time to vote for which White Sox starting pitcher will end the season with the lowest ERA. So far, it's John Danks, by just a little bit over Mark Burley, with Gavin Floyd in the 20s. Then it drops off a bit. Again, final results will be seen on the U.S. Cellular post-game show.
We got ourselves a 6-6 tie. And Austin Kearns will lead it off. He's 2 for 3, a double, a single, a run scored, and a stolen base.
Now neither of the starters will figure in the decision, so the game in the hands of the bullpen.
Well, it's about time Mark Burley got off the hook. About time. That has not happened too many times in his career. Believe me. If he hadn't had any bad luck in that respect, he wouldn't have had any at all.
Today the stuff just wasn't there. But
well, it's control.
Occasionally when it's not, the team has to pick you up.
Yeah. I tell you, this Austin Kearns, it's hard, you know. I know what happens, but I don't follow the National League that close, and I certainly, after watching this guy play now this season, it's hard to believe he had 195 with 3 home runs last year at Washington.
Could very well be, Hawk, that he was injured because he wasn't swinging like this last year.
Couldn't have been. I mean, just impossible. He's swinging it back well. He's got watching in left field. He's getting good jumps out there in left field. That's pretty easy to see why he was the #1 pick. Underneath that one. Count hangs at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He wasn't only a #1, but he was the 7th player chosen overall in the June 1998 draft.
Well, he's 6'3", 240, and he runs well. I can see why Manny Acta had him go out and get him.
Well, they had absolutely nothing to lose. They invited him on a minor league contract to come to spring training and see what he could do. And we've seen what he can do.
He can play. Came in hitting at 294. He's now hitting at 304. And there's a dreaded leadoff walk. So he scores 3 to tie it up, and you walk. Decent speed at first.
Now you've got a base stealer. And I'm not sure if Manny Acta is going to leave it to chance for Peralta to ground into a double play. Got to keep a close eye on Kearns at first.
You're right, though, Stone Cold. Something had to be wrong with him. You know, with a hitter, you never know. If it's a bad hand, bad wrist, bad shoulder, whatever.
We came into last year as a lifetime 256 major league hitter. And when a guy has the kind of year he had last year, it had to be a physical problem.
Yep. And the count 2-0 to Peralta. Peralta 1 for 3, that 2-run single and run scored back in the first inning. Just tuning in, Indians with 3 in the first, 3 in the third. Sox with 2 in the first, 1 in the fourth, and 3 in the fifth. And the count 3-0.
Kelly Duncan in the on-deck circle. He had a RBI double in the first, and then no contact.
There's one. Come back.
Now I would think that they'd be running with Kearns, so Pena has to take a look at first and see if that lead is a little bit bigger than it's been on the previous pitches.
Long set. There you go. And that's chop foul. Houston leading the Cubs 6-2. That game in the 7th inning down at the juice box. 27,577. So a big hitter right here.
Maybe you strike him out, throw him out.
That's a great concept. There you go. And it's ball 4.
Oh,
yes, he did go, says Tom Hallion.
Well, I think what A.J. has to do in that situation is throw through to second base and then call for the appeal.
He got out there too far.
He did that. A.J. figures apparently that there was no chance to get Kearns. Then he went for the appeal, got the appeal. Kearns moves in a scoring position.
Well, Kearns had 2 good jumps on the previous pitch and in that one. So A.J. was right in that respect. As here's Duncan. Off the end of the bat, pops it up into left field. One is there. And 2 out.
Tony Pena has come in, restored some order to this game. Gave up a hit in the 4th, his first inning of work. A couple of hits in the 5th, but he was able to get out of it with a forced play and a little tapper back to him. And trying to get out of it here in the 6th, the Sergio Santos gets loosened up. And if we come back to win this game, it'll be largely because Tony Pena came in, didn't give up any runs after Mark Burley had given up 6 and 3.
Well, Tony Pena's been throwing the ball better than we've seen it since he's been in the White Sox uniform. He brought it up earlier, the 4-inning stint he had in Cleveland. That should have been a huge lift for this club, but it didn't work out that way, but it should have been.
Yes.
So here's Grudzielanek. First pitch strike. And we have not seen Tony throw as hard as he's been throwing. We saw him touch 97 a couple of times. He's never done that.
Well, he can probably do that if you use him as a 7th inning man, which he originally was acquired for that role. Now he's turned into a relative long man.
Well, the first man out that role has been magnified over the years, over the last 20 years, to a degree that was unprecedented in my time zone, or even when you first started. First man out was actually the worst pitcher on your staff. Now it's got just the opposite of that. It's got to be one of the most important roles.
Because Lennox tried to pull the ball too much. That's not his game. He's got to hit the ball to right center field to be effective.
He's going to hit it to right field if he gets a base hit, probably. Has popped up. Somebody as they collide.
And the ball falls. Apparently, neither of them could hear. Hopefully, Paul gets up and he's okay. And it appears that everybody is okay. That's what you're looking for when you watch that happen. And Paul had the ball, but then got taken out. Looked like a terrific play for the World Cup in soccer.
Well, he's a bulldog. They teach you how to do that at the University of Georgia.
Run over your first baseman when you get a shot?
If he gets in the way, run over him. Get him out of there.
He did. He took him out.
It was a Wally Butts play. So 2 out, 1 and 2 the count. The 39-year-old veteran. That fastball at 95. Yeah, that first man out, that role has been redefined in the last 20 years. And once again, the 1-2 pitch.
Lennox started his career back in 1995 with the Montreal Expos on what was at the time the hardest and seamiest artificial surface in the history of the sport, Olympic Stadium. That was just a horrible playing surface.
The 2-2. Softly hit, just ate him up. And he pitches over the leadoff walk. And boy, what a nice break right there on the 3-2. United Center. That's playoffs to 242-957 for your chance to win tickets to this, but hopefully will be a historic game. And from the drop of the puck, boys, we got to have the pedal to the metal tonight.
There's no doubt about that. You don't want to be down heading back to a place you haven't won a game since 1996, and that's Philadelphia. Between innings, Manny Acta went out to Tom Hallion, and he just aired him out. That had to be about the appeal play on the swing of Johnny Peralta. I can't imagine he'd be arguing about anything else between innings. And Manny was letting him know his displeasure. Perhaps talking about dinner last night, and it wasn't particularly good. And Hallion was saying, geez, it's always been a good restaurant when I've been there.
Well, I picked up the check.
Then they go into the cross-arm face-off.
I love it.
And eventually, Manny gets back without getting tossed. That's what you like to see. Let a guy get his say, tell him you've heard enough, and then send him back to the dugout.
Show me an umpire that does that, and I'll show you a good umpire.
There you
go. Show me an
go.
umpire that will not allow you a beef, and I'll show you a bad umpire. So AJ will lead it off.
Everybody has settled down, and Herman, who gave up a rocket to get out of that fifth inning, now will be the pitcher of record.
AJ is 0 for 2. He's due. Fleissy has gone out to Austin Kearns in left field. Okay, one thing about these three-man innings, they got some grinders out there.
Well, they have to, but they've ground their way into last place, and that's largely due to some big injuries as Jason Donald takes over at shortstop. Valbuena shifts to second base as they've added a little range in their infield by taking out Grudzielanek.
Well, the Indians weren't going to be a contender in this division coming out of spring training. But since the injuries that they have had, didn't get Kerry Wood back until recently, so to speak, and then you lose two of the three best players you got in Sizemore and Cabrera. But Sandy, I was talking with Elmore and he yesterday, and he said these guys will grind it out with you. He said you're a little short, he said, but they will grind it out with you. 3-1 to count. There's a strike. So full count to AJ. 6-11-0 for them, 6-7-0 for us here in the bottom of the sixth inning.
Like they started things off in the 5th. Turned out to be a 3-run 5th that tied up the ball game.
Now the way is coming back. Dadgummit. So 1 out, and here's Alexei. Top of the 8th in Kansas City, 7-2 Royals over the Tigers.
Brian Bannister has thrown the ball very well, probably the last 3 or 4 starts.
Well, he's changing speeds there. When you see Bannister pitching well, you know he's changing speeds, because he has basically been against us a hard guy, and that's one reason he hasn't had a whole bunch of success.
Well, he's taken over for Zach Greinke, who has fallen on some hard times at 1-7.
That strike evens accounted 1.
Herman was a closer at AAA in Columbus. Finds himself now in the role essentially that Tony Pena has occupied. Gets some outs.
That is fouled away, and a reminder, you can visit your official online shop of the White Sox. You can browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. So get your gear from the official source. Shop at WhiteSox.com. One and 2 to Alexei. Off day tomorrow, then the Tigers on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's a nice little base hit into right field. So good speed aboard. Alexei now 2 for 3. He started off that 3-run 5th with a single.
A fastball right down the middle and an inside out swing. Dumps it right in front of Chu. Javi Vasquez picked up the win with a little help from Mariano Rivera as the Yankees defeated Toronto 4-3 north of the border.
Boy, there's a guy, you know, you're talking about, everybody's, and understandably so, raving about Justin Morneau and the fantastic year he's having, which he is. Hitting 372, 13 homers, 40 RBIs. So there he goes.
Well, we told you that Marson was a great catch it and throw it guy, and on a breaking ball low and away, he was able to get the throw off as quickly as you'd think and got it there in time. Alexei got a tremendous jump. This is a tough ball to handle. And what Ron Culpa says was he got him on the elbow before the hand got on the bag.
And he did.
And he did. He was out at second.
It's been a well umpired series, even though we are down 4-2. That's one thing that Alamar Sandy was talking about. He said Marson's getting better and better. He said he's throwing everybody out.
You could see it there because you don't see many catchers throw a guy out with that kind of a jump on a low and away breaking ball.
That ball hit a little foul.
Did he get around quickly on that?
A little foul. 1-2 the count. Beckham was 1 for 2. But getting back to, there's a guy that's having an unbelievable year for the Yankees, and that's Robinson Cano.
If he hadn't gone 0 for 6 in a ball game where he lost 10 points on his batting average, he'd be knocking at the door of Morneau.
Well, he's hitting 356 coming into the day. He's got 12 home runs. That's tied for 7 as Beckham strikes out, and that'll retire the side, and we're into the 7th. Plus, later tonight, don't miss Mind and Body with Kustok and Garfine. Intrepid reporters Chuck Garfine and Sarah Kustok test out everything from yoga to combat training to shedding light on how you can shape up this summer. Mind and Body tonight is 7 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend, and I know who my money is going on, and it's not our Chuck.
No, but I will tell you that Sarah has a great mind. I'm a little shaky about Chuck's body.
Chuck has got no chance. You can cancel a post-game show.
J.J. Putz comes on for the 19th time. He's 0-2. ERA .289. Throwing the ball very well. Right-handers have had a great deal of difficulty with him. There's a youngster who's having a whale of a day at the ball yard.
So here's Valbuena. Lower third of their order. Yeah, that's tonight. I'm going to put a little TiVo on that one. That's tonight. That's going to be. You're talking about getting blitzed or Schneider. That's what our Chuck is going to get. Out of play. Watch out.
They got a real good chance when that's over, because of the endurance you need to do all those things, of our Chuck looking like Abe Vigoda.
I love Abe Vigoda.
Great actor.
He will, I'll tell you.
Godfather. Barney Miller.
Foul tip, then the count 1-2. And a reminder, every White Sox Friday home game is United Flyaway Friday. Each Friday home game, one lucky fan will have the chance to win 2 free round-trip tickets to anywhere in the continental U.S. that United Airlines flies. United proud to fly the Chicago White Sox, and we are happy to be with you.
Tony Pena went 3 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs, a walk and a strikeout, and allowed the offense to come and battle back and tie it at 6.
Another outstanding job by Tony. All the way to the backstop, and the count 2-2. Top of the 8th down at the juice box, and Astros still leading the Cubs. This time it's 6-3. 3-1 Tampa Bay over Texas. Top of the 4th. Down at Arlington. Yes, he did. He gone.
Looked like a splitter.
Had to be on that swing. There it is.
That's a good one. Buena took a look back out and Putz said, didn't know you handled him quite that good.
Well, you mentioned Yankees coming back in that Toronto game. Well, the Blue Jays have been playing some good baseball, getting some good pitching and hitting some home runs. That Robinson Cano, as I mentioned, hitting .356, tied for 7th in home runs with 12. He and his teammate Alex Rodriguez are tied for the team league in RBIs with 43. That's tied for 5th in the league. He's just doing it all. Cano has more RBIs than Morneau, 1 less home run. 6-6 tie here in the top of the 7th with 1 out. Quarter 2 for 3 with a run scored. On the outside edge of the outside corner. But I mentioned the off day tomorrow, then Tuesday, Tigers come to town. Gavin Floyd against Armando Galarraga, making his first start since that very faithful, so to speak, call in Detroit. There's strike. It evens the count at 2. I know one thing. He made a lot of fans, and I'm one of them. Galarraga, the way he handled that situation.
I think he handled it as well as you could possibly handle it.
What could you do any better? I mean, the proof in the pudding was right when it happened. He just looked and smiled at Jim Joyce.
What are you going to do? It's a blown call that's non-appealable.
Well, I can honestly say is he gets a piece of that. That would not have been my reaction.
Well, you wouldn't have gotten that close to first.
I'm not talking about that.
Oh.
You're right on both guys. No, there's no way in the world I could have handled that way.
No, but I know you would have done one thing. You would have known where your second baseman was, and you would have allowed him to take the ball, and you would have covered.
Well, I told you, Miguel started the whole thing.
No doubt.
No way he should have fielded that ball.
Nope. Not that far off the bat.
No. He gone.
There's another guy that you can't count out of the MVP, and it's that third baseman in Tampa Bay. I know he might not hit what those other guys hit average-wise, but before it's over, home runs, runs batted in, and he's going to hit in the 315, 320 range. Plus his defense sets him apart at a very tough position.
Especially on that carpet.
Evan Longoria.
Especially on that carpet. He's something, just 24 years old. And a nice inning for J.J. What new? 1, 2, 3. Seventh inning stretch. You're tied at 6. And you can watch Comcast Sportsnet White Sox game replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Tony Sipp comes into the game at 0-1, ERA 6.10 out for the 25th time, and he has really struggled of late. He struggled with his control, as you saw there. On the road, 0-1 with a 10.97 ERA. Those are the numbers overall.
And the rain, just with the sun shining, just continues right now to come down harder and harder.
Tough to throw strikes in this situation.
Let me ask you a question. You being a former Cy Young Award, you got a guy like Tony Sipp. I know Tim Belcher. I haven't talked with Timmy about it, but I know he's trying to do something. How do you get a guy who throws straight up like he does to bend his back a little bit, use his legs a little bit? Because if he misses, he's going to miss up. How do you get a guy to do it?
Well, that's really the key, and the key is the back leg. You've got to have him bend the back leg. If he insists on having a fairly straight back leg, there's no way you can bend your back. I mean, you have no other choice.
That's out of play. You know, against us, Tony, you know, he's got a good arm, but I mean, against us, he's been all over the place.
Well, lately, he's had a real tough time of it. However, he's battled back and seen the count go to 2-2. Got to lay off the high fastball from Tony Sipp, because that's where the fastball usually lines up.
1-0 for 2 with a nice sacrifice bunt. Is Mr. Souvenir, I'll tell you. One Mr. Souvenir Pierre.
Makes a lot of people happy in those LG Skyline Club seats.
And I'm telling you, he and Ichiro are Mr. Souvenirs. The 2-2. Vince just did save that one. A 6-6 tie, bottom of the 7th. They've got 6 outs left. We got 9. And there's another Souvenir. The only guy that we had close to Juan Pierre, and I mean it was fairly distant close when fouling pitches off like that, was Joey Cora in the last 25 years. Joey could foul some pitches off.
Did he hit a whole lot fair?
There's a ball that's by the shortstop. So here's a good start to the 7th.
Donald's another guy without a whole lot of range. He's played a good shortstop against us. Juan finally gets one down, which is where you wanted it all along. Takes it right back up the middle, past the diving Jason Donald. And a promising way to start the 7th with our speed aboard.
And here's Omar, who has walked, struck out, and then had a sacrifice fly, picking up his 6th RBI. That coming back in the 3-run 5th. Good lead by 1. And a good eye by Omar.
Now the bullpen up and going, and it's a right-hander throwing in the Indian bullpen. What with Rios, Canerco coming up. If in fact Vizquel does lay a bunt down. Sipp does not have a good move to first.
And Omar's going to lay a bunt down. Omar at one time was as good as any bunter in the game of baseball. He could get you either way, left-handed, right-handed. And a good eye.
Well, that's 2-0, and it could very well be that he might not have to lay one down.
The flip-flop. Don't help him out.
Jensen Lewis throwing in the bullpen, and he's getting ready in a hurry because he's coming on to face Rios. Regardless of what happens here.
That was a perfect bunt. Sipp. So the sacrifice. 1-4. Sipp to Valbuena.
A solid play by Tony Sipp. Now we'll see if they send somebody to talk to Tony Sipp. Then they're going to go to Lewis. Looks like they're going to Lewis anyway.
Well, Manny is got the sign, the hat off from the bullpen coach, which indicates the guy is ready. All right. Tony Sipp will.
In relief of Tony Sipp, he inherits Juan Pierre out at second base, on for the 14th time, a 2-1 record. ERA very respectable, 3.77. You can see left-handers have really hurt him. Right-handers, not so much. He threw the 8th inning in Friday night's game and threw a perfect 8th. He went through Jones, Kotze, and Quint. So with the go-ahead run out at second base, he's got to go through the heart of the order here in the 7th.
Here's Alex. He's been to the plate 3 times, has hit the ball right on the barrel 3 times. One for a double and a run scored, one for an RBI single and another run scored. Hitting .318 as he stands up to that dish. Breaking ball low and away. It's getting to the point now that you're a little, not shocked, but you're a little taken aback if Alex doesn't hang out 2 or 3 line drives every game.
And you continue to be surprised when they pitch to him. In situations where he can drive home a big run because he's been doing just that. Of course, he does have a little protection behind him in Paul Konerko.
Yeah, he's got 29. Paul's got 39. And it appears they just don't want up until the first 2 pitches anything to do with it.
Well, Lewis has not looked back at Pierre that second and third time. And it could very well be, if he doesn't look back, Juan is going to try to steal third. He's getting a big lead out at second.
And Valbuena is just giving him a little token juke. And there's the fastball. And a little slap. Well, Alex has faced Lewis 5 times. He has 1 hit. Paulie has faced Lewis 11 times. He has 2 hits, but one of them was a homer.
Jensen Lewis throws a lot of high fastballs, so you have to make him bring it down, just like you had to make Westbrook bring it up.
Three and 1 to count.
Matt Thornton loosening up in the pen. So far, the pen's been spectacular here today.
There he goes. Safe!
And that's just a product of Lewis not looking back. And Juan Pierre finally picking up the fact that he wasn't even looking at him. He might as well take off. And that is a big steal of third base. He didn't look at him at all, even though Valbuena was sneaking over there. And he gets in easily under the tag. And now they're
sending him back.
There had to be time called. Why would they send him back?
Well, if that's the case, why is Alex standing on first base? There had to be something to do with Rios towards Marson.
Well, then if it's interference, you've got to call him out, don't you?
Let's see if we can see it.
Well, Ed Rapuano made a motion with his right elbow. Alex didn't do anything.
Alex didn't do a dadgum thing except get out of the way. So now, first and second. Late call right there by Rapuano.
Now, Marson might have said something and showed Rapuano something, but Rios did nothing.
Yeah, we may have misspoken so far. I mean, there's no. Let's take another look.
Now he's asking for interference. There was none. Ed Rapuano couldn't have possibly seen what didn't exist, and so he blew the call.
We spoke too quick about this being a well-umpired series. That's a big play. That can be a huge play right there. Alex didn't do a deadgum thing except duck to get out of the way.
Now let's see if Rapuano is in the way of this.
Okay, it's umpire's interference then. Yep.
He hits
That's what it is. Umpire's interference. Umpires can interfere. That's just a bad break there. Two and one. The Canerco.
Real bad break if he hits a fly ball here.
Paulie trying to take that pitch that was away into right center. And the count 2-2 with Patsy on deck. I would imagine it's Rafael Perez down in that pin.
It's Perez, and he's another struggling left-hander.
Let's do it right here, boys. Let's do it right here. We got the chance. Paulie again trying to take that pitch that was up and away into right center. Six 11-0 for them, 6-9-0 for us here in the bottom of the seventh with 2 on and 1 out.
Now Lewis knows that he's got to look a couple times at Pierre.
And that's high, full count. So good speed aboard. You got Pierre at second. You got Rios at first.
Can't say waiting in the on-deck circle, but if they do indeed go to Perez, could very well be Andrew Jones.
And the payoff pitch there, the runners go. And that's ball 4. That will load them up. So sacks packed with Sox, 1 down. And here comes Manny Acta.
There's the decision by Maniac. He would rather have Perez against possibly Jones than Lewis against Katse.
All right, so Jensen Lewis walks Rios. He walks Konerko. He'll enjoy a very special pregame program hosted by the Sox and the WGN weather team. So call 312-674-1000 to visit whitesox.com/WGN to book your tickets.
And our Lexus Pursuing Perfection call to the pen is going to be Rafael Perez, making his 22nd appearance. He's 1-0. Both their left-handers have ERAs up over 6. 10 walks, 11 strikeouts. Shows you that Rafael has had some problems with the moving plate, and it is going to be Mark Katse who's going to be hitting against him with the bases loaded, only 1 out, and pretty good numbers in bases loaded situations.
Well, a lot of times the manager in this situation, when they bring in a left-hander to pitch to Katse, he'll ask Mark, hey, you comfortable with this guy? And you know Mark's going to give you the true story. He's 1 for 2 against Perez. That one hit was a double. Also knocked in a run. So Sox packed with Sox, 1 out. High pop up. That's not going to get it done unless Chu's going to make the play. And here comes one.
I don't think so.
Down the line. He gave it a good shot.
You can come down the line, but just
you're
a
not
little
coming
bit
against Chu.
No. And we said it before. No Andrew Jones in that situation, and a pop-up on the first pitch. So we'll see. You watch him tag up. Chu's just got a tremendous arm. He takes a couple of extra steps, but it doesn't matter because he knows that Juan Pierre is not coming down the line. And you notice he misses on the third base side, which if you're going to miss, that's a side to miss on.
Well, the thing that made the play was he had a long way to go for that, even though it was a high pop-up. And he was full speed when he made the catch and kept it under control. As here is Carlos. He's 1 for 3. An RBI single in the 4th. Takes first pitch strike. Chu is some kind of good ball player. Outfield, that equidistant, slightly to the left. And now very quickly the count 0-2. So a lot of territory that Carlos Quentin has got to protect. In and out and up and down.
Ozzie was playing the percentages with even the left-hander up there. Left-handers had hit .480 against Perez going into that Katse at bat.
Oh, there you go. Two out, Sachs packed the 0-2. Another foul ball, one hop.
That one rifled in the dugout. That'll be heads up down there.
Anytime there's a round baseball around, you got to be heads up. Did you ever get hit in the dugout with a line shot?
No, I got hit in the leg, but not the dugout. Nope, I figured I would pay attention. If I got close, I moved.
Just got a piece of it.
But we did play, Hawk, and you played also same time where there was no fences in front of the dugout, so you had to pay attention in the dugout.
Well, the reason I ask is you never saw position players getting hit. Anytime there was a guy hitting the dugout, it was always a pitcher talking with another pitcher.
Oh, but we always had our gloves on.
Yeah,
we were ready.
Oh, and 2. There's a back it down. Nice and easy, Carlos. Not too much. Back to the middle, base hit. Quentin comes through again. They'll score a pair, and the Sox lead 8-6. Winning at bat by Carlos Quentin.
Carlos has driven in 32 runs. That batting average just barely over 200, and what a lot of productivity with those numbers. 3 driven in today. This one right back up the middle. Perez can't get to it. Donald diving can't get to it. And the Sox have a 2-run lead on the strength of a magnificent performance out of the bullpen and an offense that's clawed their way back into this, down from a 6-2 deficit after 3 innings.
So the 27,577. A perky crowd, a lively crowd, and here's AJ. Don't stop now, boys.
2 out RBI base hits will turn around your ball club.
Also the job by, as you mentioned, Pena and Putz so far, that'll help as well.
Just terrific. This game could have easily gotten out of hand early. That's the one advantage that the Sox have over most teams coming out of that pen. They bring a lot of fire out of that bullpen.
The 1-0. And that's low ball 2. So AJ's got the catbird seat. Big hat, no cattle on that one. Come on, 12. Do something. That ball hit it deep into right field, but Chu's got the bead, got the ball. And that'll reach either side, but not before a terrific at bat by Carlos Quentin. The 2 out, 2-run single, Sox lead at 8-6.
the 8th inning. It's Matt Thornton coming on at 2-2 ERA, 182 on for the 24th time. Trying to preserve the lead for J.J. Putz, who struck out 2 in a spotless 7th after just a spectacular performance by Tony Pena in relief of Mark Burley.
Trevor Crow, switch hitter, 2 for 3 in this ball game with a stolen base. Takes ball 1. Well, our Chuck, as I said, he's got no chance against Sarah Kustok in that. That is mind and body. Later tonight.
I don't know. Our Chuck is pretty spunky.
Oh, he's feisty. There's no question about that. But he's just overmatched here.
Could very well be.
2-1. The count.
Matt Thornton threw in last night's ball game. Pitched an inning, gave up 1 run on 2 hits.
And the count 3-1 with Shin-Soo Chu on deck. And Chu was one of the guys that had one of those hits. Wow, that's unusual for Matt. Walking the leadoff man. Good speed aboard. Chu is 2 for 4 with a run scored. Fouls that back. Yeah, I'm going to watch that Hawk game tonight, but I'm on a TiVo. Mind and body with Chuck Garfien and Sarah Kustok.
Well, you'll have to loan me your TiVo machine.
What would you do with it? You don't know how to work it.
Well, that's true. But I would get somebody to un-TiVo it for me and then show it somehow.
That's a different story. I'll lend you a TiVo.
I have a banquet that benefits prostate cancer research at Northwestern Memorial Hospital to go to this evening at the Peninsula Hotel.
Good.
Plenty of choice seats available, by the way.
Fouls that back. You have one tomorrow night, too, don't you?
I do. That's the Anti-Defamation League. That's at Harry Carey's. And again, some seats available for that. I'll be a speaker at both. I have the same speech. I hope it applies to both.
Well, Harold, you'll find a way to make it work. I'm sure you'll zig and zag it. Outfield straight up. The 1-2 pitch. And shooting off the side.
Matt decides to go away from the fastball and throws a hard low slider away from Chu. That's the only place where I've seen where he'll expand the strike zone.
He can take some off a slider. He got it. Oh, that's even better off the fist. Rack him up. Beautiful pitch right there by A.J. and Thornton delivering it. Ate him up. You don't see that very often.
A.J. wants it inside, and Matt throws it right there. Then it's a 4-6-3, and it's easily done, and a big double play.
So here is a hot stick standing in. Austin Kearns 2 for 3 in this game. He's 7 for 12 in the series. A little tardy on that one. That one at 96.
The advantage here is Matt Thornton can get through this inning. Whether he ends it with Kearns or ends it with Peralta. If he can get through the inning, it'll take it to Bobby Jenks where you're not facing the top or the entire heart of the order.
That's one reason I love Matt. He takes that ball anytime you want to give it to him. all he's doing also. As that ball hit hard. Get down. It will. It's off the Comcast line. This guy's just really swinging back. That double play right now really looms large.
Kearns had a couple hits last night. Had 3 Friday night. Has 3 today. And the good part about having played 12 already against the Indians is we're not going to see them for a while. That means we won't see Kearns for a while.
He's made a believer out of me and our Sox, I'll tell you that.
He's hit just about everything.
Here's Peralta. Matt will take that ball as he pours first pitch over. That's also leads the American League relievers in strikeouts per 9 innings with almost 13, 12.77.
JJ had 2 strikeouts today.
That pushes him up. He was third with 12.05. Some more gas. That at 97. JJ right now is throwing the ball terrific. As is Pena.
Well, he's got the velocity back, and Huck, because he stays over the top, that splitter is that much better.
Well, that's the thing.
If you stay over the top, you have your velocity back, and the splitter is going to be very good for you.
He's staying on top of it. And from a hitting standpoint, when you get guys with that velocity, you got to protect up and down. You got big problems.
Especially because the
big problem.
The release point of the splitter and the fastball come out of the same spot.
And you got to protect in and out and up and down against a guy. He's got a big advantage on him. That's trouble. Fisted out there in the left field. So here comes Kearns. He's going to score. And all of a sudden now it's a 1-run ball game.
Peralta's driven in 3 today, giving him 29 for the year.
Hall is coming with 2 out. Boy, now that double play really big. But this guy right here, a free swinger, Shelly Duncan, he's 1 for 4 with an RBI double coming back in the first inning. 7-13-0 for them, 8-10-0 for us. Tardy on that one. Nice catch by one of the fans. He did not have his glove. Saved that young lady behind him from possibly being injured.
You can get the 2 strikes on Duncan. You don't have to throw it in the strike zone. Unfortunately, his weakness is something that Matt Thornton doesn't have, and that's a real good straight change.
There's another weakness right up there, too.
He'll swing at that fastball up and out of the zone consistently. I'm not sure there's too many hitters who can get that one at all.
A little too high. Well, the evolution of the game has changed. It's gone from being a high fastball hitting league to a low fastball hitting league. Cooperstown is filled with guys who can turn a high 100-mile-an-hour fastball around, but not too many anymore.
Balloon chest protector.
That's it.
High strike in the American League. The leagues were known definitively as high strike American League, low strike with the inside chest protector in the National League.
All right, Matt. Peralta. Just a decent lead over there. Outfield straight up, spread out. And Duncan just does get a piece of that one.
Just a little bit higher than that last one. That will be that.
A little too high, 2-2. Jason Donald on deck. The 2-2 pitch from Thornton. Checks it up, full count. The 2-out double by Kearns. The little duck snort by Peralta. And it's a 1-run ball game, and here's the payoff. Peralta will be off. And that is high, going foul into the seats.
Wasn't far enough to make it, but it was close enough to give you a little bit of adrenaline.
I tell you, this guy's dangerous.
He's tremendously strong.
He is dangerous. Ball jumps off his back. So once again, we'll tee it up. 2 out, 3-2. He gone. Gas at 97. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th, leading 8-7.
On Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Now a chance to get a little insurance as we carry a 1-run lead into the bottom of the 8th inning. Bobby Jenks is loosening in the bullpen. He'll be the first to tell you that it's easier to save a 2- or 3-run lead than a 1-run lead.
I love it when you analyze.
It's no margin for error in those 1-run games, even though it is the bottom part of the order.
All right, well, let's get us another run or two here as Alexi Ramirez will lead it off. He's 2 for 3 with a run scored. Outfield, they are about straight away. Peralta, even with the bag off the line at third. Same for Laporta at first.
They're still sitting there with Branyan and Hafner waiting to pinch hit.
And the count 0-2. Stay with him, Alexi. Yeah, like Perez for a right-handed hitter. That's one of these left-handers wearing him out. Right-handers having a lot more trouble with him. You got to try to beat a guy like this to right field for a right-handed hitter. You try to do that.
You mean like that?
If you try to do that, you can grab some bench.
More ground to the left side and hope they boot it. A big day for Alexi. Couple of base hits. Of course, I think you'd have to say the biggest hit of the day was the game-tying single by Kotsay back in the 5th.
Just reaches out, pops it up to first. So 1 out. Here's Beckham. He is batted softly to third, single. Scored. That was back in the 5th and struck out. Outfield around to the right. First pitch strike. Juan Pierre on deck. Just tuning in. Indians with 3 in the first. Sox came right back with 2 in the bottom of the first. Home run by Paul Konerko. Then Indians added 3 in the third, made it 6-2. Sox with 1 in the fourth, 3 in the 5th. That tied it up. Big 2 out. 2-run single by Carlos Quentin in the 7th. Made it 8-6, and then they just added 1 in the top of this frame. That's low and good. Just tuning in, Yankees beat the Blue Jays 4-3 up in Canada. Bottom of the 9th in Baltimore. Red Sox and the Orioles are tied at 3. Gordon pulling his head again off that one, misses it. Houston doubles up the Cubs 6-3. And in Minute Maid. Ate him up inside. And that is out number 2. A reminder, you can organize a group outing of 20 or more guests during the 2K10 season. Purchase a block of tickets or enhance your outing with one of 6 great party areas. The more tickets you order, the more money you save. So call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com to book your group outing.
Juan Pierre, who led things off last inning with a base hit, sacrificed the second, and then a couple of walks that set up the dramatics for Carlos Quentin.
Good look at it. Good take, and the count 1-0. Just over the head. Valbuena with a nice play, but can't get him.
As soon as that one got over the head of Perez, it was almost impossible for Valbuena to even think about getting him. Pierre gets down the line in a hurry, his second hit.
Well, if there's going to be any transfer, then there's not going to be a chance. And there was the transfer.
Beat it by a clean step.
The only way you're going to get that play is barehanded. And here's Omar. Omar has walked and scored. That was in the first, struck out in the third, sacrifice fly in the fifth, and a sacrifice bunt of beauty in the seventh. Pretty good lead. Takes the bunt. Peralta back a couple of steps behind the line at third.
I don't think you're going to see a pitch out 1-0. This would be a good time to run. It's a good time to gamble. Even though they'll play Omar shallow. If you can get Pierre at second, you know they don't want to get to Rios. That means if Vizquel will see a pretty good pitch.
Fakes the bunt, takes another ball, so the count 2-0. Vizquel, a man who dominated his position for a long time.
He's been in the middle of a lot of things despite having no hits today.
That seems to be a habit he's had over the last 20-something years.
Well, a walk in the first inning, he scored a run. Then he hit a sacrifice fly in the third, drove in a run. Then his sacrifice moved Pierre to second, which set up a couple of walks, which eventually led to 2 runs and the lead last inning.
That's why he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. Done that a lot of times. 3-0. There's one. No activity down in that Cleveland pen. One. 22 for 27 and stolen bases. Broken bat. Peralta just looks the second, then goes over to first in time, and that'll retire the side. So here we go. Sit back, relax, and strap it down. Bottom of the top of the 9th inning. Sox lead it 8-7.
The middle. Scoring 2. At the time, it was an 8-6 game. The game now stands at 8-7. That's our Xfinity high-defining moment as Bobby Jenks comes on to nail it down. Jenks at 1-1, ERA 5.40, on for the 22nd time, looking for save number 9, and this is 10th opportunity. 20 innings, 11 walks, 25 strikeouts, and he'll face the bottom 4 in the order.
Jason Donald will lead it off. Making his first plate appearance, Mark Grudzielanek, the 39-year-old veteran, was 0 for 4. There's a bunt. Bobby's got time. And one pitch, one out. Big out. So here's Valbuena. He's walked twice, grounded to second, and struck out. And takes that one inside. Paulie right on the line at first. There's a strike. Pascal in it to cut the grass at third and guarding the line. Outfield, they're in a no double set. Straight up and very much spread out. Ground ball right side. That comes 2 down.
Good pitch by Jenks. Valbuena couldn't get anything into the swing. 2 up and 2 down.
And Russell Brandon coming to the plate. A very dangerous, we might add, Russell Brandon. He was 3 for 7 in this series.
Came through with an RBI base hit against Matt Thornton in the 8th last night.
Looking for it, got it, and a little tardy. You don't want anything from the belt down.
No. We've seen him expand that zone high and away. And he'll swing at most everything above the Indian logo.
And the count 0-2. Stay right there, right underneath his hands. You get a guy like Brandon, you stay underneath his hands, and you have got a shot. Two out, and the 0-2 pitch just got a piece of it. That's pretty good hook right there, Stone Pony.
Well, Bobby's got it back again. He has rediscovered his big curveball and his more sharp breaking slider. He's been able to throw both of them for strikes.
Well, that right there was a combination. That was like a slurve. Real tight, quick, but bigger than a slider. So here we go once again with the 0-2 to a dangerous man. Tried to backdoor him.
Time to go back to the high fastball. Because even a good strike with a curveball, Brandon still gets a swing at a low pitch.
And the 1-2. Sounded like he broke his bat on that one.
He did.
There's a $64 bill, 50 dust right there.
Fastball a little lower than Bobby would have wanted, but Brandon couldn't get his arms out. Just find one with a hole in it, Russell.
Well, now, Rapuano, I don't blame you. They're supposed to have a bat ready for him. That's one of the new things. You're supposed to have a bat ready in case that hitter breaks it. So here we go. $27,577 on their feet. And the 1-2 pitch. and this ball game is over. Bobby Jenks, a 1-2-3, nails it down, but J.J. Putz as the Sox win it. They come back from a 6-2 deficit, win it 8-7, and what a job by the bullpen.
Bullpen was just terrific. Pena, Putz, Thornton gave up a run, but Bobby Jenks came on. Successful 9 of 10 opportunities as a closer. You don't worry about the ERA. You worry about how many chances and how many successes.
All right, let's check out our GMC player of the game. It is the right-hander Tony Pena, who worked 3 innings, giving up no runs, 3 hits, 1 walk, couple of strikeouts, and what a job Tony Pena has been doing out of that pen. And keeping those guys right there, letting his offense get back in there, get this thing tied up, and then go ahead. He is our GMC player of the game. Stevie, we needed this game. This was a dire straits game.
Well, certainly when Mark Burley left early, same thing happened in Cleveland. You bring Tony Pena 3 innings, and Cleveland was 4 innings, and he held it right there until the offense had come back. The offense did come back. And then Carlos Quentin with one of the bigger hits that we've seen against a guy who's tough against right-handers. Took it back up the middle, and for a man who's hitting just over 200, 32 runs batted in is pretty good.
That's a hard little over 200 for Carlos Quentin. But right now we have a guest down on the field, and it is a man who has been swinging the bat from spring training on. He has been hitting it right on the barrel. Alex Rios, 2 for 3 today. Couple of runs scored, a big RBI, 3 runs scored as a matter of fact. Nice going, big guy. You guys needed this game very bad.
Yeah, thanks. We never stopped battling. You know, we were behind at the beginning of the game, but we never quit battling.
Alex, you've been playing a tremendous center field, swinging the bat well, hitting to a lot of hard luck, and of course, this club has needed some offense. Today, there was a lot of good continuation hitting.
Yeah, like I said before, we never quit battling. We're going to score runs anyway, even if it's late in the game or early. So we're not going to quit.
Well, the club itself, that bullpen did a heck of a job today. The starters have been struggling a little bit, but as long as you get bullpen like that where they can hold them right there and let you guys get back into it, it makes it a little easier on you.
Yeah. They just need a few runs to work with, and that's what we did today. We gave them a few runs to work with, and they did a pretty good job.
Well, a big win today, big guy. Congratulations. Alex Rios, our post-game guest. Sox win it 8-7. They salvaged the last of this 3-game set. And so for my partner, the Stone Pony, Steve Stone, our director, Jim Angio, our producer, Mike Leary, our associate producer, Dave